Today, I have in two very nice watches from a brand that up until a couple of weeks ago, I'd had no in person or hands on experience with. So glad to finally change that. The brand is Sartory Billard out of France. They're known for their bespoke timepieces, but they've recently added a line of watches, the SB04 lineup, to their website. Some ready to purchase watches that you can go and buy right now. I have two versions of the watch, the Tantalum dial and the ruby I have on wrist here today. So big thanks to the brand for giving me the opportunity to get hands on with these. Really appreciate that. But let's get to it and check out the watches. All right, so I ended up getting the chance to get some time with these thanks to one of my Time to Calibrate podcast co-hosts, Mark Levesque. On top of the video, Mark and I are also collaborating on an article for our third co-host, Brent Robillard's site, The Calibrated Wrist. Mark doing the write-up and myself the photography. Link to that article will be below. There's more collabs coming like this too. Mark has a very interesting, quite a unique diver that's coming, and I'll keep you in the loop as we do them. To the watches here, though, now, and we have two versions, the Tantalum hand engraved on the left and the Ruby Platinum on the right. They're beautiful watches, but as we go through the details of them, they've got quite a sporty, robust spec sheet, too. Owner Armand Billard started the brand in 2015 with bespoke watches being what the brand was all about. And over the years, they've created some incredible watches specifically to their clients' wants or needs. Check out their site and you can find images there of some great stuff, including these SB04 models. We'll start with the ruby here, and the center of the dial is made with one solid piece of ruby, which from my understanding is very difficult to work with, especially when you're cutting it so thin like this. The ruby is sourced from Tanzania and brought to Germany where it's cut. Outside of that is a platinum-plated outer ring with a sunburst and fumé finish. Above that is a sapphire crystal with an AR treatment on both sides. Applied markers at the even hours and painted markers at the odd, which are in the shape of a Y and are meant to represent the Eiffel Tower as the owners from Paris. Swapping over to the tantalum here now, and of the two, this is my favorite. The inner dial is made with tantalum, which is a very hard and heavy metal. These are hand engraved by Armand, and it's almost an industrial look, which is a nice contrast against the polished surfaces and the sapphire outer ring. The hands are diamond cut and very well finished, nicely proportioned, especially with the minute and seconds reaching right out to the minute track. The hour and minute hands are loomed, and so is the printed markers on the sapphire outer disc. The markers are not the strongest. I would have been okay with no loom at all on this, to be fair, with this particular style of watch, so it's not a huge problem for me, but they've also actually loomed the crown, which is kind of fun. Hands and crown are solid, but yeah, the markers aren't quite there. So overall, the dials are great, but the case is really nice too. First of all, one unique thing with this is the concave bezel. The way it curves in and up towards the crystal is something I don't believe I've ever seen on a watch before. It's a really neat look and gives some great light play. Also, I like how the lugs are sort of separated from the case by the groove where they meet the case. The case back has that fluted engraving around the perimeter, which is a take on some of their older watches that had a fluted ring connected to the rotor. Running the watch is the La Joux G101. It's a 24 jewel movement beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour and with a power reserve of approximately 68 hours. The crown is quite large, something you'd find usually on a sportier watch, but because of that, it's very easy to operate the watch, easy to grip, and the winding action is super smooth. Now, when these first came out, they had partnered with Deluxe and offered the watches on these CTS rubber straps and a few other options too, but they've also more recently come out with their own rubber strap that has the Eiffel Tower inspired Y logo embossed on it. I cannot speak on those, but the Deluxe are great, and whoever cut these to size before me, I have to thank them because it is sized perfectly for my wrist. Also, these spring-loaded clasps are great. You also get a couple of micro adjusts there, which is important. Very nice to have on a cut to size strap like this. Bringing the ruby dial back into frame here, and as far as dimensions go, both of the watches are identical. I did look at a clip where I was holding these side by side at the start of the video, and I think I might have been holding the ruby a little bit closer to the lens than the tantalum, but they are the identical size. Size on the watch comes in at a case width rather of 39.7 millimeters. The lug to lug is 44.6 millimeters. Lug opening is 20 millimeters and the thickness is 10.3 millimeters. The crystal is an AR treated sapphire and the water resistance is 100 meters. And here is the tantalum on my 7.25-inch wrist, and I am really going to hate to have to send these back. Love that these have a combination of refinement with the dials and cases, but feel sturdy at the same time. Cost for these is 3,500 euros for the tantalum and 4,700 for the ruby, excluding VAT. Link to where you can find these will be below. Make sure to check out Mark's write-up on the calibrated wrist. I'll link that down there too. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.